Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, I just wanted to talk about a little worry I have for the Switch successor and how it could fail. So ever since Nintendo released the SNES, there has been a pattern going on with each consecutive release where one is way up here on top of the game and it's doing really well, and then the next successor just completely flops way down here, and the Switch is doing really well. So the Switch successor could follow the trend, and I don't want it to. So when the SNES came out, it sold really well. In its lifetime sales, it sold 49 million units. Pretty good. However, when the next console they released was called the Virtual Boy. I don't know if many of you know about it, but for those who do, you know what happened with that. It sold 700,000 units and completely flopped. And after the Virtual Boy came the N64, revolutionized 3D graphics and how those work, and that was back up in the 32 million range. And then came the GameCube, still a great console with lots of games on it, but compared to its competitor, the PlayStation 2, it really flopped. The PlayStation 2 sold 158 million, and the GameCube sold around 21 million, so it did not do very well. But then Nintendo says, okay, we gotta step up our game, and they released the Wii, the second most bought console of their catalog as of right now. So they did pretty well with that. They did great with the Wii. They brought it back from the GameCube, and they're way up here again. And then what do they decide to do? They decide to capitalize on the Wii's success, and they release the Wii U, and it flopped. We all know the Wii U tanked. 13 million units sold. That's it. 13 million. That's less than the SNES. That's less than the GameCube. The only console they've ever released that's done worse than that is the Virtual Boy. And again, we know what happened there. So Nintendo, again, had to pick up the slack from their last console. They said, hey, let's go back to what we do best and make a good console. And they released the Switch. Now this is current day. We're in the Switch era, and we're coming up on the 7-year anniversary. That's the average of how long a console lasts, is 7 years. The PlayStation 4 came out in 2013, and in 2020 Sony released the PlayStation 5. So Nintendo is probably looking for a revision right now. Switch 2 is on the horizon, and I do not want it to fall into the same camp as the Wii U and the Virtual Boy. I don't want this new system to fail. The Switch has been such a great success for Nintendo, and people trust the brand again. I don't want that to go away for another 7 years. So how does it not fail? Well, I've got a couple ideas as to how Nintendo can pull this off again. The first thing the Switch successor needs to not be a failure is a good marketing campaign. The reason that a lot of people point to the Wii U's failure is the marketing. Nobody knew what this thing was. They thought it was an extension of a Wii. One, the name has Wii in it, and two, the ads did not show the gimmick of the Wii U with the two screens basically being a home console DS. Nobody knew what it was, and Nintendo didn't want to tell us what it was. The average consumer didn't know what the Wii U was. They thought it was like an Xbox Connect or something like that, when really it was their first foray into the HD world. The GameCube and Wii had both been 480p up until that point, and everyone thought that the Wii U was just the gamepad. They didn't see that the console was more powerful. They only saw the controller and thought it was like a Kinect for the Xbox. And on top of everyone not knowing what it was, Nintendo marketed it as a child's toy. All the ads showed children convincing their parents to buy it, and the ads were not built to advertise towards the hardcore audience of adults. It was advertised to kids like me back in the day, and that's why I have one. The marketing campaign was very weak for the Wii U. On the other hand, the Nintendo Switch and the Wii had excellent marketing. Take the Switch for example. The Switch reveal, you have an establishing shot of just a dude on a couch playing the new Zelda. It's not annoying, there's no skits, it's just a guy on a couch playing a game. And they hook you with the new Zelda. And then he gets up, he walks over his TV, and he takes the Switch out of the dock. you immediately understand the gimmick of what this new console brings to the table. It's a portable handheld and it's a home console. The idea is like that. It immediately makes sense. Whereas with the Wii U, they don't even show you what's so special about it. And then take the Wii U's predecessor, the Wii. It had a very targeted demographic in the general audience of families, people who aren't as hardcore into video games, and it sold you right on the idea that you don't have to really press buttons in order to play. It showed you the motion controls. It showed you all the good stuff about the Wii in just one ad, and that's all you needed to realize that that would be a good family home console. So my hope and the way that I think the Switch successor will be successful is whatever gimmick it has will be showed off properly and marketed to the correct people in the commercials, because we don't want another Wii U happening. And that brings me to my second point. I think that the Switch successor needs a new gimmick. Of course, I think it should continue the Switch's handheld and home console experience, because that has been very successful. However, I do not think it should rely on that. I think it needs a brand new gimmick as well to kind of separate it from the Switch. And I do not think it should have Switch branding associated with it. I think it should be called something else. I'm not exactly sure what, but it should not have Nintendo Switch in the title. Because there's also a pattern that shows that things that are too similar to the last product do not sell as well. Again, the Wii U had Wii in the title and had the same controllers with the Wii remote. Now, the Wii sold 101 million units, while the Wii U, again, sold 13 million. Because the Wii U did not innovate enough. It used the same Wiimotes, it used the same motion control gimmick, and it used the exact same name, just with a U at the end. So no one knew what it was, again. And if we move over to the handhelds for a second, the DS sold 154 million copies. It is the second best-selling console of all time, just behind the PlayStation 2. The Switch just passed 139 million, and that's still growing, so that might overtake it. But the point is, the DS sold so much because of the portability and the dual screen. However, again, the next handheld system, the 3DS, did not innovate enough on the idea. They tried the 3D slider, but the only game that really benefits from the 3D slider is Mario 3D Land. All the other games just make people nauseous and throw up all over their new system. And because of this lack of innovation, while this number is still very big, the 3DS only sold 75 million units, which is half of what the DS sold. Not a failure by any means, but it's still a trend where if you don't innovate enough, people are not going to buy your console because they already have what you're selling, basically. But yeah, that's basically it for what I think this Switch successor desperately needs. It needs a new gimmick to set it aside from what we already have, and it needs good marketing to show us what that new gimmick is and market it to the correct audience. Please, Nintendo, just follow these simple steps and please make this new console a success. You know how to do it. You've done it many times before, but you get comfortable. So don't get comfortable. Anyways, thank you so much for stopping in my channel. Please let me know in the comments below how you think that Nintendo can make the Switch successor a success. Subscribe if you deem me worthy and like this video. Please and thank you. Thanks for watching, and I will see you later.